This is a video guide to using the new importer function that we've recently added to SEWBReCORD. So this is a tool that you can use to import whole Excel spreadsheets of data. So you can add a large amount of data to your account in one go if you have some spreadsheets of data waiting to go in. So in order to do this, we go to SEWBReCORD, the homepage, and sign into your account, and then click on Record, and then Importer. This will bring you to a page with lots of text on. This is a description of how you do an import, but I'll show you in this video as well. So if you scroll down to the bottom, it asks you to select a file. So I'm just going to quickly show you what sort of data you can put in this way. So this is just an example spreadsheet of some data, and it's got the usual what, when, where and who, and then some extra bits and pieces. And the extra column that's very important when you're using the importer that you wouldn't normally include is the email address column. So that's just a column headed email address, and then put your own email address in there. So we'll have a go at importing this data now. Close that down, and then we click on Browse back on SEWBReCORD. And then it will take you to your filing system and you can find the spreadsheet you want to upload. And then click on Upload. You can use CSV or Excel files to do this. It can cope with either. So if we scroll down here, it asks us to set a few settings for the whole import. So first of all, survey data set. So for this, we just select general records because we just wanted to go into general records on SEWBReCORD. The spatial reference system in the UK, we always use the British National Grid. So scroll down till you find that and put it in. For species list, so for example, you were importing data that was for a specific survey on iRecord, you might pick one of these other ones, but in almost every case, what you actually want to pick is the UK master list. And this is a list of all the species in the UK's species dictionary. And then the last thing it asks us to define is the sample method. So it may be that you're doing a moth trap and you want to assign light trap to all of the records, or you might have been doing some pitfall trapping or a transect, but most of the time it will be field observation, which just means that you saw the species whilst out in the field. So you click Next. So we scroll down and we see that SEWBReCORD has started to match up some of the columns in the spreadsheet to its own fields. So column in the import file. So these are the names of the columns as we put in the spreadsheet, and then where we want to map it to attributes within SEWBReCORD. So it's already found a few for us. It worked out the species, the date, the location name, and the grid reference. It's asking us for a few extra things. And on the right-hand side, you can see there's this little task list of attributes that must be matched before you can do an import. So it must have an email and it must have a recorder name. So the first one over here that's not been assigned is recorder. So if we bring up the drop-down list and scroll down to the bottom and select recorder name, and you can see that's taken off one of the tasks on the right-hand side. Then we also had a comments column, which was optional. So for this one, we can just use occurrence comment. And we also had a count column, which is optional. So for this one, we can scroll till we find the count. So occurrence, custom attributes, and then quantity. And then email address. Again, we scroll down to the bottom and we can find email there. So all our tasks have disappeared, so it should upload fine for us. So we click on the upload button down at the bottom. It shouldn't take too long because it's not too many data. So it said some of the rows in the import file could not be imported. So there is a problem with our spreadsheet. 5 problems were detected during import. Part of your upload was unsuccessful. So don't panic if you get this, it happens quite often. All you need to do is download the records that did not import, that button, and it will bring you up with an error spreadsheet. And as you can see, it looks very much like the spreadsheet that I had open earlier, but it has now got this problem description column. So this will describe what the problem is. So it says sample date start, please specify a date that is not in the future. So if we open my original import file and we look at the date column, we can see now that I've dragged the date down and it's pulled records into future dates because I'm importing this on the 20th of January. So in order to fix it, we just need to copy and paste so the dates are correct. And click Save. And we can have another go at importing. So these ones didn't import, so we can import them again. So we're going to close this error sheet as well. Let me just save any changes. And back on SEWBReCORD, it says, would you like to import another file? So we'll click on that and have another go. So we click Browse, we find the spreadsheet and upload. So we need to set these import settings again. So the survey data set is general records. The spatial reference system is British National Grid. The species list is the UK master list. And the sample method will most of the time be field observation. And click Next. And again, we need to just match up the columns to the attributes within the database. So recorder, we scroll down to recorder name at the bottom. Comments, we can use the comment at the top. The count, we want to scroll down to find quantity. And the email address is again down the bottom. We scroll down and find email. And then click Upload. And this time we have the green message saying the upload was successful. So what you can do now is just to check that the records look okay. So you click on Explore and then My Records Full, which will include the most recent data uploaded. And take a little while to load My Records. And here we go. So we can see here the list of species that I was importing. Now, you may have noticed on my spreadsheet, or maybe not, that I used common names. So if we go back to the spreadsheet, I haven't put the scientific name, I've just put the common name for everything. Now, for a lot of species, that's fine. For a lot of birds, that's fine. But at the bottom, I've included 3 more ambiguous species. So redshank is both a moss and a plant and a bird. Sallow is a plant and a moth. And grayling is a butterfly and a fish. So if the species column just has common names in it, then SEWBReCORD will kind of guess what you meant. It won't necessarily be correct. So for example, in this list, it's decided that the grayling is a fish, the sallow is a plant, and the redshank is a bird. That might be fine, but it might be incorrect. So when you do import like this, we encourage you to just go over to your records and check that it has imported the right species. Alternatively, you can put in the scientific name at this point in the spreadsheet so it doesn't have any errors like this. I'd certainly say if you were importing a large data sheet of moths, for example, and you had several sallow records, it is worth changing it to the scientific name because it will always come out with willow rather than the moth. If you have imported and it's wrong, say for example this was actually a butterfly, not a fish, Then, as usual, you can find the record in your records. Click on the Edit this record button on the right-hand side. So if we start typing in grayling, we can see that it's come up with both the fish and the butterfly, so we can select the right one. So if I want to change the fish to the butterfly, and then I can go down the bottom and hit submit. And it says the information has been updated. So now if we look at my records again, we can see the grayling is now a butterfly rather than a fish. So that's how you use the new importer tool. We're hoping it will be really useful for people with a large backlog of records. If you ever have any problems or questions, you can always get in touch with us on the usual channels. But that's it for now.